Morning, everybody. Welcome to another Lessons in Scripture. This lesson has been appropriate for me, and I hope it is appropriate for you. I am one of those people that I get an idea and I have to immediately run and do it, or I see something and have to immediately go and buy it. And he has really been working on me about wait and trust in his timing. And so, to prove that point, this message was actually did not come to me until this morning while I was in the shower getting ready for church. And it's Sunday, and again, I'm like, well, this time I said, you know what, Lord, if you don't give me anything to put out there today, there's a reason for it, and I'm okay with that. And then, bing, bang, boom, these scriptures popped into my head, and that was my lesson about waiting for his timing. So I have 4 scriptures I want to read for you today, and I am hoping and praying that when I'm finished, that YouTube does not take a long time to upload this. I'm praying that you will actually get this message on Sunday. But if you don't, it's all in the Lord's timing, and it happens for a reason, and I'm going to trust in that. So, the first scripture I'm going to read for you today is 2 Timothy 3:16, and you know that this is typically on my Lessons in Scripture videos, that's what I have as my thumbnail. But in case you've never actually read it or the picture's too small, I want to read this to you. This is 2 Timothy 3:16. And I'm reading from the NASB version this morning, which is the New American Standard Bible. I have several different versions, but this is the one I'm reading from today. 2 Timothy 3:16 says, "All Scripture is inspired by God and profitable for teaching, for reproof, for correction, for training in righteousness." And then 17 says, "So that the man of God may be adequate, equipped for every good work." So that scripture teaches us that everything is God-breathed. It comes from God. Everything we read from this Bible is here to help us and guide us and teach us and correct us. The second scripture I want to read is from Romans 15:4. And when I first became a Christian, this is the first scripture that really touched my heart. And I think it might have been the first one I memorized. I'm not sure. Romans 15:4. It says, "For whatever was written in earlier times was written for our instruction, so that through perseverance and the encouragement of the Scriptures we might have hope." So the first one teaches us every Scripture is from God, and the second one teaches us, again, it's written for our instruction, and so that through perseverance and encouragement of reading these scriptures, we might have hope. And remember, this is from the New Testament, so what this is referring to is everything that was written in the Old Testament, because at the time that these were written, the Bible that these people had was what we call the Old Testament. So don't just say, oh, well, you know, Old Testament doesn't apply to me anymore. It does. I mean, yes, this is another lesson. We are not under the we don't have to do the celebrations that they did, but the 10 Commandments still stands, and the concepts of the Old Testament still stand for us. And so what he was teaching there still applies to us today. Whatever was written in earlier times, it was written for our instruction, so that through perseverance and the encouragement of the Scriptures we might have hope. The third scripture that I want to read for you today is from Proverbs, and it's Proverbs 3:5. And this, I think, is the one scripture that the Lord has really been working me on. I mean, almost daily this one pops into my head, or I hear somebody say it. And this, if you remember nothing else, this is, in my opinion, such an important scripture. Proverbs 3:5. "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." So that's Proverbs 3:5 and 6. Trust in Him with your whole heart, which goes back to the first commandment. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. Put no other gods before Him. Love Him first. Trust Him with everything you have, and He's going to point you in the right direction. And then the last scripture that I have for you today is Psalm 27:14. And this relates to this morning when I was saying, okay, I'm just going to wait for you, and if you have nothing for me today, I know your timing is perfect, and I'll just wait. Okay, so Psalm 27:14. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage, and yes, wait for the Lord. Now, in this particular psalm, I think this one might have been written by David. Yes, this was written by David. And he was talking about how his adversaries were against him. And I don't like to take things out of context, and so I just wanted to let you know that that's what that was about. You might want to read the entire Psalm 27, but this is the one that popped into my mind, and it tells me, you know, wait for Him and be strong and take courage, not just when our adversaries are against us, not just when times are tough, but in everything, as we see from all these other scriptures. Trust in Him with everything we have. Wait for Him. When in doubt, wait for Him. Go to Him first. Trust in His knowledge. Wait for Him, and He will steer you in the right direction. So this is probably one of the shortest lessons that I've put out, and I guess because it's short and sweet and simple. You know, love Him first. Put Him first. Trust in Him for everything. Don't rush just because everybody else is doing it, or just because, you know, our society has us rushing so fast. Don't rush. Trust in Him, and know that you can rely on these scriptures. They're God-breathed. They're here for a reason. They're here to help us. They're here to get us through every day, and I think that is the best thing that we can remember. He's trustworthy. He's faithful. His timing is perfect. So you guys all have a wonderful day. Have a blessed day. And I will see you next time. Bye.